On the afternoon of February 3rd, 2024, Montgomery County Fire and Rescue, Fairfax County Fire and Rescue, the Naval District of Washington Fire and Rescue crews were dispatched to the C&O Canal towpath between Lock 5 and Lock 10 for a report of a patient having chest pains. During their response, the crews planned to approach the reported location of the patient from two directions. The crews of Swiftwater 710 and Fairfax Paramedic Rescue Squad 444 teamed up and worked their way towards the patient from an access point at Lock 5. Swiftwater 710 Bravo and Engine 752 crews were assigned to team up and search for the patient starting at an access point at Lock 10. As Swiftwater 710 Bravo arrived on scene, the crew dropped their boat at the gate and proceeded down the towpath in the boat support vehicle. While driving down the towpath, the crew of Swiftwater 710 Bravo met up with the crew of Engine 752. The crew searched along the towpath as they approached Lock 8. They located the patient lying on the ground by the Union Arch footbridge. The crews from Engine 752 and Swiftwater 710 Bravo worked together to quickly assess the patient and found him to be cold, pale, diaphoretic, and complaining of severe chest tightness. The crews obtained the patient's vital signs and placed him on oxygen. At this time, the crew from Fairfax Paramedic Rescue Squad 444 and Swiftwater 710 arrived on scene with ALS equipment. As the patient was being placed in cardiac monitor, he went into cardiac arrest. The crews quickly transitioned to providing high-performance CPR by administering chest compressions and assisting ventilations via a bag valve mask. The patient's initial cardiac rhythm was ventricular fibrillation, and he was adequately and properly defibrillated, which resulted in a return of spontaneous circulation with palpable pulses present. The patient began to breathe on his own, so assistive ventilations were discontinued. The crews obtained vascular access via an IO and began to package the patient in the Stokes basket for transport to the EMS unit via UTV 711. As the patient was being placed on the UTV, he began to regain consciousness. The patient was moved to Ambulance 710 for further evaluation and stabilization. The crew worked together to perform a 12-lead, which revealed a sinus rhythm with no ST, ectopy, or changes. The patient's vital signs were stable. The patient was now awake and alert. The patient was adamantly telling the crew that he was ready to go home. En route to Suburban Hospital, the crews monitored the patient's condition, completed a medical consultation, and obtained a second vascular access site. Upon arrival at Suburban Hospital, the care was transferred to the waiting emergency department staff. The patient was stabilized in the emergency department before being transferred to Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore. Thanks to the coordination and communication of the multiple jurisdictions in the early stages of this complex incident, as well as the knowledge, skills, and teamwork of those crews and the excellent care from Suburban Hospital and Johns Hopkins, the patient was discharged to home neurologically intact on February 28th, 2024. The patient was unable to be here today, but sent a letter that he would like to show or read out loud to the crews. To my rescuers, I wanted to come in person on April 24th to thank the MCFRS and various responders that came to save my life on the towpath along the C&O Canal. But unfortunately, my recovery is not complete as of this writing. Nonetheless, I offer my most sincere gratitude to those who came and resuscitated me in time. I don't remember much of that, but I recall walking up to the ambulance and being totally disbelieving that I had been resuscitated. It is easy to think that it was a momentous effort in the absence of pain or recalling what happened, but I later realized what happened, and I want to send all of my thanks to the team that came out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mr. Bayan, great job.